right. He's got this. He's got his sickle. He's got his hammer. He's ready to go.
He's ready to do this.
Hello, greetings and salutations, and welcome to Y.A.R.P episode 89, and it is The Mask. About as energy as before we started.
I was about to say, though, you kind of came in with that, like, you do this thing where you randomly hit the button, and we're like...
how does he fuck it up even when he's the one fucking doing it? I don't understand.
I don't know, like I said, I wasn't ready for it, and now I'm, like, scared. And now I'm like, I'm a Jiki from fucking My Hero Academia. And
talk about the fucking mask.
No, I'm scared.
Alright,
it was shit.
Ooh, you shouldn't say that. You weren't supposed to say that. Well,
I don't care. I'm coming in with the fucking hot take, apparently. This was way worse than I remembered it being.
Okay, so what exactly did not work for you? Was it, like, silly nature of it? The cartoonishness of it? What?
I mean, literally pretty much almost all of it. Like, and maybe it was the order they came out in, because, like, the cartoonish aspect in a live action kind of made me think a lot of Kung Fu Hustle. But, like, everything that Kung Fu Hustle did was better than this. So maybe it was a victim of, like, it was the first one to really try for it, but it just didn't quite nail the formula. But none of the jokes really landed for me. Even the visual gags, like, just nothing. I mean, I don't normally laugh out loud anyway, but, like, I didn't, not even like a smile or like a chuckle. Like, nothing. I didn't have a smile on my face at all during the watch. I wasn't enjoying myself during the watch.
None of, like, the visual gags, like doing all the, like, stuff, like preparing and all that stuff. Nothing got you.
Not even a little bit.
Face?
Well, and that's what I was saying. Not even like a nostalgic, like, oh, I remember that, or oh, that, this takes me back. Not even, no, zero.
That's what kind of seems weird to me, because I feel like I didn't watch this movie growing up, but I feel like if I had, I mean, this seems like it's aimed towards a younger audience with the visual gags.
It's not really, though.
I mean,
it's got a lot. Yeah, I kind of see what she's talking about, but at the same time, it's like, no.
Yeah.
It is primarily enjoyed by a younger audience back in its day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a
that's what I mean.
Yeah, there was a cartoon of the mask, and then the movie came out. That was the audience that actually watched it. Even if a lot of the jokes, like what happens to those mechanics, is obviously just a little bit more adult. But really just made it edgier humor for me. Very small.
It's Looney Tunes with an adult spin.
Yeah, it's very
it's based on a comic book.
Yeah, it's based on a comic book, but it's not Looney Tunes with an adult spin. It's a drama about like a bank robbery and all this shit, like mob shit, but it also has a cartoon character just inserted into the show.
Mm-hmm.
That might be relevant. Keep that tucked away for later.
Maybe. We'll see. But like I said, nothing really got you at all. Nothing whatsoever.
I had a few thoughts going throughout the movie. One of which is, does anyone know the story behind Carmen Diaz?
You mean Cameron?
Cameron Diaz, yeah. It's just
Carmen.
Yeah,
Carmen?
I don't know. That's
Caramel
Diaz.
Caramel
Diaz.
She's decided to go career.
This is the fucking
Carmen San Diego.
Spanish
Carmen San Diego, thank you.
I know. Like,
oh, is that?
That was most of it. I was like, man, like, I remember when people hyped this up as like, oh my god, she's so fucking amazing. Like, she's so hot. Her part is so... like, for one, you can tell like all of the singing bits is not her. Like, that's clearly not her. So, I don't know. It just, I kept hoping that something would trigger that little bit of nostalgia or something would grab me. But even the story, like, in between a lot of the comedic gags and stuff, was very, like, bare bones. I had forgotten how long it really takes for the movie to get going.
Mm-hmm.
For even anything to kind of start happening. And not even just for something to start happening, but, like, you really don't have a sense of who these characters are or what the fucking plot is until almost like the third of the way through the movie mark. Because Stanley is like a banker, and it's like, okay, so he's just kind of some lowly, clock hour employee, basically.
Well, he's a banker who happens to be working at the bank that's about to be robbed. Like
Right.
that's Carmen. That's Carmen San Diego's like whole thing is that she's going in there to basically scout the vault and shit like that, and send it back to what was the guy's name?
Dorian?
Dorian. Thank you. Remember, that's like such a lame fucking mob boss name. But anyway, yeah, she sends
But he's not the boss. Like he's the
he's trying
boss?
he's trying to take over for the boss though. Like that's his whole plot.
He's
part
ambitious gang dude about to shake things up.
Yeah, good old Dorian. So yeah,
Dorian Tyrell.
Tyrell?
Yeah, Dorian Tyrell. He's
See,
of the Game of Thrones Tyrells.
I know, like if his name.
Oh, I was about to make a Blade Runner like the Tyrell Corporation.
No, you think
No
I think
one
you're
makes
thinking of
fucking Blade Runner
Martell.
jokes. Shut up. No, there are Tyrells in Game of Thrones.
No, they're not.
Martell. I think you're thinking Dorian Martell.
No.
Excuse me,
There
Queen
are-
Marjorie Tyrell of House
Yeah, the
Highgarden.
flower house.
I know.
The ones with all the money.
I know. That's what he's talking about. And as I was saying, if Tyrell was his like name, that actually sound a little bit better.
That was his name. That's what he said.
No. But like his first name, like I said, his name's Dorian. I don't know why. It just name sounds so fucking bland to me. Sounds like a painting. But
Oh, I was going to say.
But so yeah, the idea is that this guy is going to basically try to take over the mob business, even though he's under somebody. That's what the whole point of the bank robbery is. But Stanley Ipkiss, well, it's weird because Stanley Ipkiss isn't really thrown into the scenario. He's just kind of around for it, and he's also around because of the mask.
Yeah, he just kind of stumbles upon it.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, he's kind of a wiener. Like I don't really like. He's like beyond loser. Like Wyatt could be somebody that Stanley could look up to, kind of deal.
Stanley wants to be a communist?
Yeah. But the idea is that I don't know. Like I said, you might have a point though, but I feel like there is a bit of through line for the mob, and that's kind of how Stanley gets involved because he has a crush on the chick, and the chick is with the Dorian. Is my mic getting picked up? What's up?
No.
Why are you so quiet?
Yeah.
No,
It's just that when the mask thing happens, everything that the mask will do impulsively happens to go directly into this other plot that was already set up earlier.
Exactly.
So it just lines up. It's like the bank he wants to rob is the bank Dorian wants. The girl he wants to fuck is the girl that Dorian has. The place, the club where all of it goes down is Dorian's club.
Mm-hmm.
It's like destiny is just intertwined Dorian and Ipkiss completely.
Yeah.
I mean, destiny's one word for it. Contrivance is another.
There it is. So
Like,
yeah, they
the
keep the
whole
plot
kinda
very, very
hinges on
small.
it. Yeah, almost like Star
Almost
Wars
like-
level small, where it's like this whole galaxy revolves around one family. Just I don't know. I remembered the story in between the jokes being more memorable or higher quality, and I didn't feel like it was there.
Meanwhile, I'm the exact opposite. I only remembered the jokes. In fact, like that's why I was like, my take might be the step before yours of like, where it's like only the mask bits are the only thing I even cared about.
Well, there is this weird bit though that I would actually kind of agree with you on. The fact that there's only the one mask and there's no other like cartoon characters kind of like diminishes it a little bit.
And how like the cop is almost completely immune to it.
Also, the cop really did nothing wrong and he's being treated like shit. Like, it's like, what?
Oh yeah, he's unironically actually correct about pretty much everything he says.
Yeah, and it's like, oh,
No, he fucked up when he married Margaret. Remember?
Yeah, you should
Well,
know. You married.
He didn't fuck up. He just has a sense of humor.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Not even like Jim Carrey's like just natural charm and him just being a fucking cartoon character got you, because like even like the little bits where he gets kicked in the nuts and then he's like,
well, and maybe
okay.
it's a side effect of watching all of the other Jim Carrey media that we've been consuming. Like I've seen him at I don't want to say like his best, but like better than this.
I mean,
okay,
we started
well,
with Truman Show. We have seen him at his best.
Well, actually, hang on. This is actually an interesting point. Do you think that Jim Carrey's performance is bad? Because if you say yes, then I'd have serious problems with that
I
statement.
don't think it's his performance. I think it's more the writing and just the jokes in general don't really. And a lot of that probably stems from, like, in a weird way, as much as you can fully see Jim, like, in this role doing his sort of Jim isms. I think this is one of those examples where I don't think he got to do a lot of ad-libbing or improv.
Really?
I think this
Really?
was a lot of, like, straight, because you got to think the Mask as a character has a lot of specific mannerisms, catchphrases, and actions that he does that
Mhm.
they probably really wanted to get hit out there. Like, you've got to say this line like this. You've got to say, I mean, they probably let him put his little spin on the delivery, but as far as the actual wording, as far as the catchphrase, all that was probably heavily from the writer. That was not Jim.
Well, no,
This
this whole movie is actually all practical effects. So Jim actually really went out for all
Really
this.
did stretch
Yeah.
out his face.
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
really
his
did like
eyes really
yeah,
did
when-
pop out of his
pop
fucking
out.
Yeah,
head.
when he got that scared, his skull really did just pop right out.
and he created a Tommy gun out of a fucking balloon. That's wild. Like I didn't even know he can like do alchemy like that. But no,
Yeah, Make
I
a Wish
do-
kid that brings him to the hospital really sets
Jim,
fucking alarms off.
Jim Carrey is the full balloon alchemist.
But like I said, the idea that he's not given a lot of room to improv, but like I still think he brings a lot of his charm to the character. You know what I mean? Like he's doing like I was joking about the cartoonish shit he's doing like IRL, but like a lot of the voices, a lot of like the delivery, the movements that aren't like CGI'd or whatever. Like even like the movements where he's like getting ready to go out and he's like dicking around in the bathroom. Like that's if it's sped up, but that's still all Jim like doing that shit. You know what I mean?
No, and that's fine. Like I said, I'm not disagreeing that his performance was fine. I just, none of it got me. None of it was, better than any of the other stuff that we've seen.
But do you think
Um,
it's a subjective thing, or do you think that's actually something you could like pin down? Because I thought the jokes were fine. They weren't like mind blowing or anything, but they were pretty good for like cartoony jokes. Like all the visual gags and stuff like that of like an actual like cartoon character in the middle of a like real world. Is kind of hilarious.
honestly, if I had to put it in objective terms, I think a lot of the, specifically the cartoon-ish type humor that you're talking about, was very, like, basic and shallow. It was very, like, the entry level cartoonish type jokes. There was no real thought or anything put behind them.
And like there is one in particular that I don't really like. It's when he first sits down to at the restaurant and like he's seeing Carmel Watson like actually start singing, and he does like bit for bit the same thing that the cartoon dog in that
The
cartoon he's
wolf,
watching.
yeah.
The wolf, yeah, sorry. That the wolf is actually doing, and he does like he even like fucking morphs into like a mask version of the wolf. And like while that's kind of funny and really like good for like design and shit like that, as a like joke, it feels a little lazy. I guess the word would be.
Another word
Yeah,
I think that might apply is dated. Because
Mm.
that humor, and not just the style of referential humor, but the references being used, were all things that were on TV when it came out. So it was referring to other media that was already in your sphere. So as a kid, it's like, oh shit, I know these jokes. I know those references. I get this. This is a style of humor that like I'm already on board with, where to go in cold and raw, it just seems very kind of odd, like out of time.
Yeah, dated is definitely a word that's fitting for it.
So yeah, how well it goes down, a lot of that's going to come down to nostalgia, which is one of the reasons I will find it very difficult to be objective about this movie because I watched it so many fucking times as a kid. Like I don't even have a radar for whether or not the jokes would have landed for me because there's no surprise. Like I just see the script in my head. I know the jokes are coming, and it's just like, oh yeah, I remember liking this, and I don't have a reaction now that I can properly gauge. So all I can go in is just what I can see on screen.
I actually am just curious, like, on a subjective level, Ninja, what actually is like, what's your top bar for comedy? Like, what's your absolute favorite? You've probably said it before, but I don't remember.
I have, for, like, American comedy, it would be something like Tropic Thunder. For English comedy, it would be Hot Fuzz.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. It's like I've seen both of those movies, dozens of times, and they will still put a smile on my face, even though I know the punchline that's coming. You know what I mean? Like, but there's so much more thought and effort that goes into the jokes, whereas a lot of this is like Slur said, it's based on those references, those jokes from other sources that do those things better. So it just kind of feels very lazy. Like I'm just copying other popular things and not even doing as good of a job. And it also relies on a lot of like very, very shallow stereotypes, like the whole French guy thing that happens in the park.
Yeah, it goes the French.
That
guy
was
from-
a Pepe Le Pew reference.
Yeah.
Was it
Right,
supposed
yeah.
to be?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think
It
so.
would
Probably.
have to be because that's literally
I was
his
gonna-
character.
Yeah, the
That's literally
pushy
his character.
Frenchman.
Yeah,
Mhm.
borderline rapey French skunk dude.
Right.
Yeah, but
I
the
feel
look
like
was off. You know what I mean? Like it's just
He was wearing black and red. He's wearing black and white.
I feel like
It's
Wyatt
also just
kind
the
of said it
the person.
right earlier
Mhm.
about the whole. I was thinking the whole time this whole thing is Looney Tunes. It's just Looney
But
Tunes
it's
in real
not.
life. But what? Why is it not?
Well, because it's referencing like other cartoons, not Looney Tunes specifically. Like a lot of
I'm not saying. I'm saying the energy is Looney Tunes.
is it?
A little bit.
Well, I mean, that's one of them. Like that's one of the ingredients in the mix, very specifically.
Yeah, like
Right,
Looney
But it's
yeah.
also things like Betty Boop, which is where you get the wolf guy. It's a bunch of all like Max Fleischer type shit, where you get all like the body morphing. It's like fucking Wile E. Coyote when he jumps out the window and like goes 2-dimensional when he hits the floor, leaves a fucking body imprint.
Yeah,
I was
all
gonna
the
say when-
cartoons, all those classic
yeah,
cartoons.
Looney Tunes is more of the shorthand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. What
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying
what I
is
mean.
like when you look at there's that shot when he sits down next to the TV and he's got all the little videos, laid out and stuff. That a lot of those cartoons are like not everything that was animated back then was meant for kids or had the same vibe and energy to it. Like Betty Boop was a much more adult oriented cartoon than
Yeah.
like say Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. So it's not
Mhm.
like, oh, it's all animated, so it all falls into the same category. It's like, no, hold on a second. It's very different. It was a very different vibe, but I don't know. I feel like it maybe tries to do the Looney Tunes thing, but it takes a very much much more sort of darker tone, and I don't think it works. And maybe it's because all the references are dated and they're just not as relevant as they used to be. I don't know. But
Mhm.
I just, like I said, I was fully going into this expecting to have that sort of nostalgia wave and to be smiling and laughing the whole time, and it just didn't. And I was pretty bummed the whole fucking time.
I'm
I
doing
smiled, but I didn't laugh out loud.
I kind of chuckled at a little bit of the like, but more so just on like the mass gags and stuff like that. Nothing more like anything there.
the part that I really enjoyed was the Spanish dance, the
The
that he did with the Cuban dance, yeah, that he did with the
Cuban Pete,
cops.
the Cuban Pete
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah, that was based on like Desi Arnaz and Copacabana, that kind of thing. So I'm doing a lot of research right now. Trying to look more into the background of the movie and how much Jim had an influence on it. So apparently, the movie was written with him in mind. And when Jim looked at the script, he was like, "Yeah, yeah, this is definitely me." Um, and then I'm also reading something that says this is just somebody's individual take. It's like the boys for Bugs Bunny. What do you guys think about that?
What the
No.
fuck?
What?
No.
Yeah, no,
makes
that's a
that
bad
feels-
take.
That feels weird.
like whoever said that, like
This
that
is
was-
on GameRant.com.
This is like the
Yeah,
comedy
don't-
thing, but it's live action, like The Boys.
Yeah,
Mhm.
don't look to retard journalism for information.
Yeah. Who was it?
The next thing, great game rant.
Game Rant? Okay.
It sounds like a
We're
spin-off
just-
of Screen Rant, so hence it's shit.
Yeah.
It
we're
would be
just-
more like The Boys if they actually made it more like the comic, which could get legitimately fucking horrifying and violent.
Yeah, like
I was
the
gonna
idea-
say, you want to
the
talk about like
idea
adaptation? Oh my god, the mask is completely different.
Oh yeah,
like
that
the
comic
part,
is fucking wild.
yeah, like the part where he actually shoves the mufflers up the mechanic's asses, like you actually see their faces like deformed and fucked up from the what's that like round part of the muffler, Ninja?
The exhaust
The
pipe.
pipe.
Not the pipe, but like when you
Yeah.
further down the pipe and
I
it
thought
turns into like a big can.
I thought that was
Oh,
actually the
catalytic
muffler
converter.
itself.
That's the
Oh.
catalytic converter. Yeah, like the catalytic converter is like their face, and like the tips of the mufflers are like coming out of their heads. It's like really fucking disturbing.
Well, and plus Jim Carrey's character, doesn't he fucking die in like issue 2?
Something like that. Like Stanley Ipkiss isn't like the main thing. The idea is it's about Big Head, the mask.
Right. Then the cop takes the mask and
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is like you said something about like the mask. It's like I also feel like it kind of like suffered from the fact that like Dorian is like the main villain, but the main villain is just Dorian wearing the mask. So when Dory's not wearing the mask, like there's like no tension or anything like to like the actual like stakes of the fight. Like,
Oh,
there's not
yeah,
even really
it's
a fight. Like it's just
to the
like
point
if
that
Stanley is wearing the mask, he's 100% invincible. Like you can't actually do anything to him.
Well, yeah, because whoever has the mask basically has fucking Toon Force powers. So
Yeah.
if Stanley's got it, there's no tension because you know he's fine, and if the enemy has it, there's no tension because you know he can't be beaten. He's literally invincible. The
Yeah.
only way for them to win is to get the mask off.
Mm-hmm. And that's
which would
upsetting.
have made this
It's-
more
It suffers in that sense. It's weird saying this. God fucking forgive me, but like, the Mask 2, Son of the Mask actually has a little bit more because Loki's a character, and like that's something that the Mask can actually work off of. Whereas
Yeah,
in this
and-
one, Dorian is literally such a nothing burger because he's just a mob guy. So it's like whenever it's like he doesn't have the mask, it's like there's nothing there to do.
and to the point that and to the point when the even bigger mob boss like plays like golf off his face, like
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
established that there is a bigger bad.
Yeah, there's a bigger bad, but he is literally in 2 scenes.
Yeah.
He's in the first scene where he's intimidating, and the second scene where he's fucking dead.
Yep.
So yeah,
There you
I don't
go.
know. Like I said, I don't really agree with Ninja on the comedy aspects of it, but there is a point to saying like the movie story-wise actually isn't that great. Which is a shame to say, because yeah, like I agree 100% with Sarah. I love this movie, but now seeing it with a little bit of a more jaded eye, I guess, even though some of the jokes do get me, it's like, yeah, this movie is kind of lackluster, to say the least. Some of
And-
the CGI is still pretty good though. It kind of
Yeah,
holds up
so-
pretty well.
Some of
But
the
not-
I mean, the
not
practical
like
effect
super-
of the mask actually holds up really well.
Mhm.
hmm and the big teeth and everything.
Hmm.
I maybe like a final fight would have been much better if like somehow there were 2 masks and
Yeah,
it's
there's
just
some,
like
or if there's
like-
just like a secondary like cartoon character somewhere in the world that's like also
Just-
like working his way to fuck with the mask.
Or the final fucking thing, the final problem that needs to be solved needs to be done in a way that isn't cartoony. Like
Mhm.
cartoony shit won't fix this. It has to be done seriously or it's all fucked. So
Mhm.
he's forced to do things and save the day without the mask, thus completing his arc.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
oh,
then-
turns out I don't actually need the mask to be a cooler version of myself. I can just be better.
Is
Which
it
is
a
kind of
little
like the arc he ends up on, but like
Yeah.
it doesn't feel as earned.
is it a
Mhm,
little weird that
exactly.
like the cop was just 100% immune to the tricks?
Not really. He's just.
But
he's
I mean,
kind of-
not really. He got fucking played just like everyone else. He just wasn't transformed, but the mask didn't try. If the mask did the thing, where he made that woman just start singing randomly, and then he tried it on the cop and it just didn't work, that would be weird. But the fact that he was just there, not really. It's fine.
That's fair. I was more thinking about like how he didn't get entranced by the dance number like everybody
Well,
else.
Because he wasn't
Well-
there when it started.
Yeah, and the other guy was entranced just because he's a fucking idiot. Like that was the whole point. It's like,
Okay.
yeah, he's like, you start dancing, I'll start blasting. He goes, oh, sorry, boss.
It is a bit weird how he gets fucked over at the end of the movie.
Yeah, he gets fucked over. So it's like this weird thing too. It's like, well, this guy literally did nothing wrong.
He's just doing his job.
Like literally, Stanley Ipkiss was the person who robbed the bank. You know what I mean? And he puts that together because he remembers his like weird ass fucking pajamas. So like he actually goes and tries to arrest them, and he even like I said, there's a weird bit of like good detective work here, and like it's not really like shown relevance. It's not really paid off. It's just like haha, he's the bad guy because he's against the good guy. It's like what? That's
Oh
not.
yeah, he's just an annoying lawman who's trying to stop us from having fun.
Meanwhile, like Stanley did, yeah, he committed a crime. Like
Yeah, he
he,
committed a crime. Like again, it's like that's the thing. We got him dead to rights.
Yeah, but it was a fun crime, so
It was a fun
leave him
crime,
alone.
so it's okay.
yeah, robbing banks. Yeah, that's.
I mean, we play.
Who else was gonna pull up in a limo?
Well, I was about to say, we talk about robbing banks. It's not fun. We literally play a game that's all about robbing banks. It's actually a lot of fun.
It's just maybe it's because he laughed at a lot of his own jokes.
Like yeah, maybe like the
Like that's always kind of a just like a laugh track. Like for me, that is a comedy turn off. Like I just if it's funny, I'll fucking laugh. Don't tell me when to laugh. Like
Mhm.
So is it because of the sort of the fakeness of it? Like if he had actually broken and laughed, like that's the difference between him going like.
Well, the one that like always points out to me is look, mom, roadkill, haha, like kind of deal. Like that one.
Right.
That
it's
one.
not.
What?
Like go ahead.
Ninja?
What?
You said it's
Well,
not.
I was just saying, like, yeah, it's like it's not funny. Like it's like he falls, he gets flat, and he's like, oh look, roadkill, ha 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 ha. It's like it. What was the punchline there? Like
The
that's not
punchline
even a
is
well constructed joke,
well. I thought the punchline was more so he's like figuring out that he's invincible.
is it?
I mean, yeah, he just fell off of a fucking 5-story balcony or whatever.
But is he finding that out?
I didn't think the laughing was like him laughing at a joke. It was more like, oh, he's so loony, he's so crazy as the mask. He's like, ha ha ha.
Like yuck,
Like,
yuck, kind of deal.
yeah, like maniacal laughter
Why
almost.
I oughta?
Exactly. But that's also like once again another product of its time thing, which we can agree to disagree that that's kind of a detriment to the movie. I don't know if I'd 100% say that one for one, but you know, like I said, um,
I mean, I'm open to hearing counter arguments. I just haven't heard one that's convincing. Does anyone have a reason that it's not?
that's not what.
None that's at
Well,
least.
to any of it, like I'm basically saying like a lot of it is pretty shit and low bar, low tier, and it's like I don't feel like I'm getting a lot of pushback in that regard,
Yeah, I'm not
other than
pushing.
just the subjective, like it's nostalgic.
Yeah,
Well, no, like
I'm not pushing
like
back on that.
like I said, I'm more just like kind of entranced by like Jim Carrey's performance and stuff like that, and like all the silly voices he does. Like there's that one bit where he's like pretending to be French or whatever, and then like he breaks like his French character like kind of deal. It's a very simple joke and kind of
Yeah,
like his purpose.
simple. Yeah,
But
simple, but not necessarily bad.
like I said, that one makes me like smile every time I hear it. It's like, is she going for it? I hope
No,
so.
it's
Kind of like deal. Like it's
shut the door, shut the door, shut the window. I don't fucking care.
yeah, it's shit like that. Like, but like here's the thing though. Like even though I like it shit like that, I can 100% admit like it's a very simplistic joke. Like, there's nothing like too complicated about that. It's just him changing his voice and like breaking character inside of his character break.
And I think that
Wall
does end
break
up sort of
inside a
being the
fourth wall
highlight
break.
of the jokes for us looking at it now. Is little things like that where, oh yeah, that's yeah, it's kind of clever, kind of amusing, unoffensive, not problem really. And then we just kind of get back to the story,
Mhm.
which just I think it didn't really age super well,
Yeah, like
not
there's
in
a
terms
bit
of
like
like
because like
quality or
the Congo bit is the Cuban Pete bit is like really like legendary like for this movie, but it's immediately followed up with probably the fucking most stupid thing you could ever fucking do in any kind of media. He takes the mask off to run away from the cops.
That was
yeah, I don't
weird.
get that.
That's fucking stupid, and it's only there it's only there as a plot device so he can actually get into the car with Trader Girl, and like not be
And
powered up
then
and be
lose the
going for the first
mask.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
literally
do
like
like how they set her up very early on as someone who's very clearly fucking playing him like a fiddle.
mhm.
Like that was a nice detail. I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole thing. It's like, oh, the smoking bombshell. She's not the girl you want. You want the girl next door. It's like, oh, nope. The fucking girl next door is a total fucking traitor.
Yeah.
Adele
Turns out
first,
you can't trust any of these hoes, but tish.
basically. Um, but yeah, like I said, it's that like him deciding not to use the mask to get away, which is insanely stupid because he literally has like super speed and like Toon Force. He can literally do whatever he wants, but he decides that Stanley Ipkiss is something that can get away from the guys better,
Even
even
though
though like
they know his
yeah,
face and they know that he's the one that did it.
mm-hmm. What was it?
Yeah, and her fucking bulletproof tank of a car.
Well, that and he dodged fucking bullets at the last second, even without the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the plastic top of that garbage can with the what did he call them? Leather heads. That's like fucking bulletproof. It's like, man, the only other thing cartoonish in this world is literally the scenery.
Mm-hmm.
And probably how corrupt the city is.
I mean, it is Edge City.
Yeah, Edge City. Because,
Is
using
that-
New York get problematic.
Is that actually the name of the city?
Yes,
Yeah.
they say it in the
It's
beginning.
literally the first shot of the movie. It's called
I
Edge
just
City.
I just always fucking auto-corrected it to New York. I never actually knew it was
Yeah.
called
Oh yeah,
Edge City.
it's
That's
called
weird.
Edge City.
That's hilarious. Well, okay. That's fucking funny. And I'm
And
sorry, running into a fucking 20-year revelation right here. It's like, wait, what? Shut
And
up.
this
That's
is-
not real.
and all this is because Atreus didn't want to put on the mask.
Yeah, yeah. That's a whole other fucking weird discussion. But that just makes Son of the Mask canon. That's not true.
Oh, the sequel of this movie is if you think this one was sort of like underwhelming, didn't really hold up to like the rose tinted nostalgia view. I promise the sequel is exactly as fucking
I
ghoulish
can't-
nightmare fuel as you
It is-
remember.
it
Holy
is
fucking
horrible.
goddamn.
I used the prequel joke too early then because in our Bruce Almighty I said, oh look, as we check out the prequel to Evan Almighty. I could have fucking said we're checking out the prequel to Son of the Mask.
Yeah, Son of the Mask. Because like, as I was saying, like Ninja, would you be fair to say that like Jim Carrey kind of carries the movie though?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing else really here. Like, if you were to
Yeah.
take him and his performance out of it, like,
Which
yeah.
hang on, which is my point because that's when you get Son of the Mask, where Jamie Kennedy is the mask, and
And they put hair on the fucking.
they put hair on the fucking mask, and like. Here's the thing: is like Jim Carrey's clearly wearing like a fat ass prosthetic, and it's really hard for him to convey emotion. But he still manages to do it with like his over like mouth thing. Like Jamie Kennedy doesn't move his face at all when he's wearing the mask. It's creepy. So he's got like this weird deadpan, not full smile kind of thing going on with his fat ass chin, and it's like, what, dude? Who thought this was a good idea?
I was gonna say probably.
See, and
Good.
well, I was gonna say, like, with the kind of comments you're making about like, oh, it's simple, and he basically just changes his voice a lot, and that's enough to make you smile. It's like, it makes me think if this movie had been made in like the early to mid 2000s, they would have got fucking Dane Cook.
Dane Cook is nowhere near as talented.
No, but I'm saying that it's a lot of the same.
That's what it would
I
have
mean,
been.
have you seen Employee of the Month?
I still stand by that Dan Cook would have been a good Deadpool, but yeah, like it's just that's a yeah, like
It's just a lot of the same criticism that people levied at Dane Cook,
Yeah,
Mm.
that's the problem. It's like, yeah, I'm like just kind of cringing at the idea of Dan Cook playing the mask. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Prime Dan Cook might have been able to do it if he went fucking full cartoony, but it's a different timeline we're talking about.
Yeah.
God, now I'm kind of
As I like reference the only Dane Cook movie that I know, which is Employee of the Month.
Waiting.
He was actually in
Good Luck, Chuck.
Mystery Men for a minute.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Oh
the
yeah, he
fucking-
was.
He
Yeah,
was the
during the tryout
Wafflenator.
scene. Yeah, during the tryout scene.
The
I
waffle.
I either bash their skulls in with my waffle, or I sear them like this. Like I said, I stand by the fact that he could have played Deadpool. Maybe he could play the mask. I don't know. Like I said, I had to sit there and think.
I
about
mean,
it.
he couldn't have been any worse than Jamie Kennedy.
God, fucking dude, like fucking goddamn Daisy Ridley could have been more convincing as the mask of
Hold
fucking
on,
Jamie Kennedy.
I when it comes to the flaws of
She
Son of the
certainly has the
Mask,
teeth for it.
when it comes to the flaws of the Son of the Mask, I don't like of all things, like Jamie Kennedy doesn't come to the front of my mind. The cursed
No.
fucking baby comes to mind
No,
before
dude.
that.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. Is nothing about that sequel fucking
Yeah,
works. Like,
no, yeah, it's
that's what I'm saying.
awful.
Even though we're kind of coming to an agreement that like the comedy is a little dated and like the story is not that great, Jim Carrey still carries the fucking movie.
Yeah,
Like when he's in the mask, or like even some of the scenes when he's not in the mask, he's still like a charming guy. He's a really good actor. You don't get that with Jamie Kennedy, so there's literally no redeeming factors about the second movie.
Yeah, that's why like my favorite joke of this movie was still the like when he, you got me, partner.
You got me,
Well,
partner.
there is
Yeah.
one thing about the second movie, and that's that Dr. Floop plays the Loki.
That fucking movie.
I'm not convinced the second movie exists. I've never seen it. And love
And
movies
You've
like
never
that.
You've
seen
never
Son of
seen
the.
Dude, no,
I've never seen it either.
no. It's fine that you haven't
It
seen
is
it. It is
truly fucking awful. It's awful in the way that I love, which is a warning, not a recommendation.
So-
As a very
so-
shit posting like YouTube poop level of fucking stupidity, even though YouTube poops have a lot more care and love put into them.
And a lot better editing. And somehow a lot better effects.
Yeah.
Something
Oh,
that I
boy.
was thinking about throughout this movie was that this is one of the few times that we're seeing Jim Carrey play a character that's actually not an asshole. Like a lot of his characters that he plays are like the asshole who learns a lesson
What do you?
and becomes a good
What are
guy
you?
by the
This
end.
entire arc is. Hold on. This
No,
entire arc is considered.
no.
Let her
She's got a
cook.
point. She's got a point. But yeah, go ahead, Sarah. Keep talking.
Yeah, so like and things like Bruce Almighty or in Me, Myself, and Irene. Well, maybe not that one.
I was about to say
But
that's not one.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's not one of them.
There are a couple. There are a couple examples in the fucking
There-
arc. I'm seeing if you could have done them.
Or Liar Liar is one
Liar
of them.
Liar's
Yeah.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There's a couple, but a good number of them are Jim Carrey's character gets taken advantage of.
Yeah, it was like literally.
It's
like,
not so many that I would consider it like the default character that he usually plays, but it's certainly, yeah, you can contrast
It's
it to those.
it's
a
certainly
trend.
prominent in this arc. At
Also,
least.
Lovey Philip Morris, he's also an asshole there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's probably one of the most flawed characters he's ever played. Jesus Christ.
Well,
Which is weird because it's actually a real person.
yeah, I was gonna say
Right,
he's just playing a real monster.
He's actually playing a fucking horrible con man. But yeah, I was about to say, but like even in let's say Truman Show, it's like he's not like he's a victim in that one. Ace Ventura, he's not an asshole. He's actually a really good
I mean,
detective.
Truman as a character is just legitimately a very fucking wholesome, nice person.
Who's very much being taken advantage of by the world.
Yeah, who's literally put into like the worst position in the world. So here's the thing, like if you ask people what movie they know Jim Carrey in, like it's usually either Ace Ventura or The Mask. I'm really curious to see if either Ace Ventura actually does better than The Mask in this regard.
God, I fucking hope so, man. Because like I said, this was depressing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for Ace Ventura to kind of like feel as dated as this did. Because I just feel fucking old, man.
Yeah, there's that aspect to it too as well.
I mean, as someone who didn't watch this when I was a kid because I wasn't allowed to, but I didn't watch it until I was probably mid to late teens, and I don't think it had the same impact as it would have if I had watched it when I was a kid. So I probably didn't enjoy it as much, but I still appreciated certain moments and still see why it had the impact that it did.
It's weird though, because I'm looking at this, and I was like, man, this was like a weird movie to like show kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it definitely.
What was this film rated?
A kid doesn't know what a proctologist is.
I mean, I knew it was an ass doctor.
That's a fan doctor.
Yeah, I picked that up in context. But yeah, like, I watched this when I was pretty fucking young. But I was also watching a shit ton of Looney Tunes and the Animaniacs and like a bunch of other shit. And that era of like 90s cartoons, they made a lot of like references to pop culture that only people who were the age of the writers would actually get. Like, okay, you know the Animaniacs joke where, okay, we need to look for Prince,
Yeah,
and then
fingerprints.
she actually picks
No.
up the singer Prince,
Yeah.
and she's like, no, fingerprints, and she's like, no, thank you, I don't want to. It's like, I didn't get that as a kid, but I appreciated that it was there. I thought it was like a funny gag. I just didn't get the reference, and a lot of the humor was like that.
Yeah,
That's true. That is actually very true.
I was going to say, well, like, a lot of our childhood had adult humor in it, hidden through it. Like, oh, for the love of God, why am I fucking misremembering? The two dogs.
What?
Ren and
You're
Stimpy.
gonna
For
have
the
to be
love of
way more
Ren
specific.
and
The two
Stimpy.
dogs.
That took a
Courage,
fucking
Cowardly
minute.
Dog, and Scooby Doo. Gotcha.
Stimpy's a
The-
dog?
Is he?
I thought he was a cat.
No, Stimpy's a
Dog and a
cat.
cat.
Ren is the dog.
Oh, I could have.
Which-
Never mind. I
which-
thought this
I
whole time
never-
Ren was a. I thought he was this whole time he was a Chihuahua.
Ren is a Chihuahua. Stimpy's a fucking cat.
He's a big ass cat. Yeah.
Do you know which one is Ren and which one is Stimpy?
No, I don't.
Oh
No
my
one.
mean, I
yeah,
misremember.
I don't know which one is which actually.
Well,
never
one of
watched
them anyway. Also, there was
I
cat
never watched
dog.
it though, so that's the thing. Cat dog. Fuck that. That was weird. God,
That was a fucking odd show.
It was like nightmarish because like, do you remember that one scene where
No,
dog eats like a burrito and then like cat is like fucked up for the rest of the day because he's gonna like fucking barf out shit. It's like,
You
Jesus.
remember the little
Christ.
gnome that lived in the
Hold on.
walls?
Hold
I
on.
fucking
Yeah.
idolized that
You wanna
dude.
talk
He was a
about
vibe.
You want to talk about weird fucking cartoons? Let's talk about fucking Cow and Chicken, where they literally ate ass.
Yeah, they
Oh, that
literally
was
found-
late night Cartoon Network. That was the fucking chaos realm. There were no
Yeah,
rules.
no, but that popped up during daytime, dog. Like that
Yeah, it
was a
did.
weird one because
Only
yeah,
after it got super popular, and then once it did, it started disappearing because then actual parents got to see it. And
Yeah, they
there
were
were
like-
complaints.
yeah, it's like wait, they're actually eating a plate of ass. It's like wait,
And-
what the fuck? Dude?
And then they were and then they were like starting a carpet business, and a bunch of ladies came in and started munching on it. It's like, ah.
Oh my god. So fucked. Oh my god, fucking weird cartoon.
So there was that episode where they went
Park
to the theme park, but like the theme of the park was that like all of the rides were fucking deadly. They would kill you.
But anyway, it's kind of
This is, well, no, that kind of puts it to the point though, is because it's like that is like the thing. Because I thought like yeah, it would be like should be more childish or whatever, but nah, man, some of the more like I guess scarring ones are fucking like actually adult styled humor.
There's also a thing called the family movie where they're jokes for people of all ages. The more adult jokes typically go over the kids' heads, but they're there for the parents so they can enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. But it's like I said,
Even
it's-
fucking like, and I'm trying to think. Even like SpongeBob had some adult jokes, so to make it tolerable
Yeah.
for like fucking parents.
I don't know if that would make it tolerant for parents though.
My parents love SpongeBob, actually.
Really?
Yeah, like
Your
my mom.
hardcore conservative Christian parents liked SpongeBob?
Actually, yes.
That's weird.
I why?
That is like the weirdest thing I've heard in a while. Are you serious?
What's inappropriate about SpongeBob?
A lot of it. It's fucking like it's been a minute since I've had to sit down and think about it, but SpongeBob is fucking weird, dude.
It's weird, but it's not
I mean,
inappropriate.
there are episodes with actual necromancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you think about it, like even just implication wise, like SpongeBob basically summons a demon with a fucking Bubble Buddy.
Well, that's
Oh,
not
well,
just a Bubble Buddy.
That's
but
a bit of
yeah.
a stretch. But no, my parents, yeah. My mom admitted she one time sat down and watched it by herself.
All right, well, shout out to mom.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, I guess like kind of agree with Ninja. Like the jokes land for me just because they're silly, but that's the thing is like as like objectively, I find it a little bit like harder to defend rather than the fact that they're just silly for the sake of being silly. And the more objective thing to talk about the story, and the story of the mask is kind of terrible.
Definitely is not aged the best.
Ooh.
Oh, I didn't.
Shit.
Unfortunately, we lost Ninja for a good second. So Anyone got anything
God, thank God
else
he's
to
fucking
say?
gone. Fuck that motherfucker. No.
This movie's
Um,
fantastic
This
now that
movie's
he's
fucking
gone.
amazing and he's stupid. Anyway, yeah, no, like I said, like,
Max summoning the energy he actually needed.
come in. Okay. No, like I said, it's like I don't know. I just had fun with it, but I can see how it's like really fucking stupid movie.
There's a few scenes that I liked when Jim Carrey wasn't the mask. Outside of that, I'm like, I'm just here to watch the guy with the green face just do whatever.
And yeah, and that's kind of like the point to it, because it's like that is like what people came for, you know.
Yeah.
Get this Arkansas, by the way, and let's go.
Well, stand next to it. Oh no, I see the tag. Sorry, there's just so much shit on my fucking screen.
Yeah, I left like minutes ago, dog. I don't know if you could tell.
I couldn't. There's so many particle effects.
I think I came to the wrong mission type, by the way. I didn't get the resource I wanted.
You shouldn't come to this game at all. Well, hold on. Knowing you come to it all the time.
I don't know, man. I just unlocked Wisp. But other than that, Ninja, you back?
Kind of. I'm on my phone.
Oh.
Wow, okay. That's...
Yeah, he's dialing in from the 1920s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell Scarlett I did.
I was going to say, it's like...
Come on! That joke is great! Fuck you! You didn't smile at that.
No, because I did a better fucking delivery.
Shut up.
Fuck off.
Fuck right.
Blow your fucking nose. Shut up.
I was like, don't say
Your
it.
Honor,
Don't say it.
got him.
Don't say it.
Okay, so in conclusion, if you'd like to see some truly terrible, abhorrent fucking art, watch Son of the Mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the recommendation, caller. It's what you sound like right now. It's like we're on like a radio talk show. It's like, you're on the air.
We're on the air with 5 Nights... What? 5 Nights at
Five
Freddy's?
Nights at Freddy's? What the
Five Nights at
fuck?
Freddy's. I don't know.
All right.
dude. I'm not-
Five Nights at Freddy's now.
Anyway,
available in
rating-
Louisiana.
Ratings on The Mask. I think I put it at a fucking 5. Which I think is the lowest one I've given.
Didn't we
And
give a
this-
movie a 4?
Oh yeah, we gave Once Bitten a 2. Yeah. Ninja, do you think this movie's better than Once Bitten?
I would say it takes more shots in an effort of like comedy trying to be funny. I think the story is worse.
Okay.
But I would say the jokes don't really land in either one. So I mean, I would probably put this at like a 4.
Okay.
I think
I definitely think this would be below average.
I'm willing to put it at a 5 as well.
I think I'm at about maybe a 4, and a lot of that is to do with... I think the story's is super shallow and basic, but it's mostly fine. It's just a lot of... not just the style, but everything about it has just kind of aged in a way that it does not land. So if we're watching it in current year, which we are, yeah, I just don't think it hits.
That's fair.
Even though I still have a lot of like nostalgic affection for the movie.
No. All right. What about you, Sarah?
I give it a 6. I'm a little more generous, but
That's fair.
Yeah.
But you giving it a 6 is actually pretty low for your metric.
yeah, exactly.
So I guess you're coming to like some agreements with like what we're saying about the movie itself.
Hmm.
That's fair.
All right. We'll see you all next week for the big finale of this arc. Jog on.
Bye-bye.